Welcome once again, everyone, to San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show. We thank you very much for tuning in. And if you haven't subscribed yet, would love for you to subscribe. We're on YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera, and you can follow me on X at Coach Kentera44. And we're building a very nice listenership, and very much appreciate that. But again, if you do tune in, would you please subscribe? Like to work our way towards 2,000 viewers of our weekly podcast. And we do a couple a week normally. And every once in a while, we may dive into a third. And at some point in time, we're going to kick over and have some live podcasts as well. But during the baseball season, this has worked out very, very well. And very excited about today. We've got a lot to cover. How about that Dodger series, Padre fans? Hey, I know the Dodgers are missing a lot of their players. Okay, I understand. Freddie Freeman's dealing with a very serious situation with his young 3-year-old boy. Mookie Betts is recovering from a broken hand. Max Muncy's out with that oblique strain. Chris Taylor, who wasn't having a great year but had been playing better, he's been on the IL. Miguel Rojas, who filling in for Betts at shortstop, was doing a very nice job and swinging the bat very well. Dodgers have had a lot of problems, and we know about all their problems in the rotation. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You play who you play. And right now, the Padres, after taking 2 from the Dodgers, they're 4.5 games back. I don't know if they can win it. I know the Dodgers are going to be getting reinforcements, and they did very well in the trade deadline, bringing in Tommy Edman. I actually talked to Dave Roberts after they acquired Tommy Edman. He's very excited about getting the San Diego product. Of course, Tommy from La Jolla Country Day High School, played for his dad, John Edman, played at Stanford, done really good with the Cardinals, but he's been out all year recovering from wrist surgery. But he's down in the minor leagues. Dave told me he should be back in about 2 weeks. They got Ahmed Rosario that's going to beef up that lineup. He was hitting .310 with Tampa Bay this year. Then you get Jack Flaherty. You get Michael Kopech. We saw Kopech pitch 1 inning against the Padres on Wednesday night, and he struck out the side. I mean, the guy throws 99 to 100 miles an hour, and he's better as a reliever than he is a starter. So Dodgers definitely getting help. They also got Kevin Kiermaier, who's going to retire at the end of the year, but he plays a Gold Glove center field. So the Dodgers did very, very well. There's no question about it. They did very, very well. But the Padres, I think, did really well. And we're going to talk more about the Padre acquisitions, who they got and who they gave up later on. But I want to talk about this 2-game series. I mean, that game on Wednesday started at 5:40. And anybody that thought it was at 6:40 and turned the TV on at 6:40 realized the Padres were up 7-1. They ended up winning the game 8-1. They out hit the Dodgers that night 12-3. Dodgers committed 3 errors. Kershaw making his second start of the year was awful. It didn't help the Dodgers made 3 errors behind them. One of them Kershaw made on a suicide squeeze, and he botched the ball and couldn't make a play at home. He got charged with an error. But nonetheless, Padres are playing great baseball. The Padres have won 9 out of their last 10 games. And I mean, they were fantastic. I mean, Dylan Cease went out there and they had the big lead, and they didn't have to push him. I mean, he threw a lot of pitches and wasn't, like he was in the no-hitter, but his first time out since the no-hitter, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Gets the win, drops his ERA down to 3.42. Bullpen got a nice workout. Adrian Morejon, a third, struck out the only batter he faced. Alec Jacob, an inning, did a great job, struck out the side. And Jason Adam, making his Padre debut, came in and had a nice 1-2-3 inning. He looks good. It's amazing. The Padres had him once upon a time and released him, and then he bounced around. He was with the Padres, and he was coming off injuries. Only pitched in 1 AA game, and they DFA'd him. And then he got to the big leagues and really doing a nice job for Tampa before the Padres acquired him. But, the Padres, once again, Manny's a couple of hits on Wednesday night. Jackson Merrill, a couple of hits, a 17th double. Luis Camposano, 2 for 4 nights, 7th homer, drove in 2 runs. And even Bryce Johnson, who you get nothing out of offensively. Very nice defender, can run a little bit when he gets on base or pinch runs. He had 2 hits. He was 2 for 3 and a walk and a couple of runs scored. So a really nice win, and they banged Kershaw all over the ballpark. Kershaw gave up 7 runs in 3 2/3 innings. 6 hits, 7 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 walk, and didn't strike out a batter. So I imagine Kershaw and the Dodgers a little concerned. He didn't pitch all that bad his first time out against the Giants. He went 4 innings and gave up 2 runs. But the Padres knocked him all over the ballpark. It was pretty ugly, actually. And then you go back to Tuesday night. Matt Waldron had a really tough outing in the first inning. I mean, he gave up 5 runs. He even gave up a home run to Kevin Biggio, who's barely hitting 200, hit off that right field foul pole. But after that, Waldron pitched great. He ended up going 3 more innings and didn't give up anything. He ended up going 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned a walk, 6 strikeouts, and gave up that home run. But he pitched. They probably could have pushed him another inning, but the way the lineup was stacked with left-handers coming up, they decided to go to the bullpen. They brought in Yuki Matsui. And really the bullpen on Tuesday night was fantastic. I mean, really fantastic. They had Matsui for an inning, Stephen Kolek for an inning, Adrian Morahone for an inning, Gillespie for an inning. Jeremiah Estrada and Robert Suarez came in and pitched the 10th inning, struck out 2 of the guys he faced, and ended up getting the win, 6-1 on the year with a 1.48 ERA. But the bullpen on Tuesday night what won it. It gave the Padres an opportunity to get back in the game. I mean, Tuesday night, the bullpen, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. And, of course, I mean, that was just a great testament of how this Padre team has played all year. They may be down 4 or 5 runs early, but they keep chipping away. That's exactly what they did Tuesday night. I mean, when a team gives up 5 runs in the top of the first, and they're down 5-0 when they come in off the field and they throw their glove down and grab their bat and helmet and grab their bat and walk to the on-deck circle and eventually to the play. They're down 5-0. That's a big hill to climb, especially a guy like Tyler Glasnow, who's one of the better pitchers in baseball. Padres chipped away. I mean, they did a great job. They got a run in the second. They added a couple more in the third. And then that magical 9th inning, Manny leads off with a homer. Bogarts gets called out on strikes. And then Jackson Merrill gets a pitch down and in, and boom, out of the ballpark off of Blake Trinan. Ties it up. And then Donovan Solano pinch hits for Jake Cronenworth. And you know what? You know what's kind of funny? And I realize that Cronenworth has had really a pretty good year. I mean, he's really struggled in the month of July. And to me, that was an automatic move. And everybody's, oh, man, Mike Schultz showed a lot by taking out Cronenworth. And to Cronenworth's credit, he was right there on that top step cheering for Donovan Solano. And Solano got the base hit down the left field line to win the ball game. That's easy. I mean, you're going against Alex Vesia, who's had an incredible year, really an incredible year. But Solano's a good hitter. I mean, there's no question about it. He's added a lot to the Padre ball club. But from a manager's standpoint, that's an easy move. Yeah, you might tick a guy off, and Cronenworth wasn't ticked off. I'm sure he was disappointed that he couldn't have been the hero, or at least had a chance to be the hero. But that's an easy move, especially when you got a veteran like Solano on the bench. But the bullpen did a heck of a job in that game. I mean, down 5-0. And really, I think Matt Waldron did a great job. I mean, giving up 5 runs, it takes some intestinal fortitude to go out there and kind of get yourself recalibrated and go out there and go pitch by pitch. I mean, because your heart's down in your stomach when you give up 5 runs. You know it's been a crappy outing. Now you're just trying to, kind of eat up some innings to save your bullpen. And then the bullpen came in, did a heck of a job. So that was pretty exciting. I mean, that's great. I don't care if the Dodgers are beat up or not. It still counts. And I'm a big believer. It's not who you play, it's when you play them. And we got the Dodgers at a great time. No question about it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about all the trades. And I know there are a lot of people out there that are, wow, the Padres gave up a lot. Yeah, they did give up a lot. And I'm not real happy that they gave up Robbie Snelling. Robbie Snelling was having a bad year, but he's 20 years of age. I wasn't overly excited about giving up Dylan Lesko. But you know what? You got to give up something to get something. And where the Padres are at, they got to win. They got to get to the playoffs. I don't know. If they don't make it to the play, I don't know if A.J. Preller is going to get fired or not. Everybody seems to think if he doesn't make it to the playoffs, he's getting fired. I don't know if that's true. He got 2 more years to go on his contract. The Padres really are they in a spot now where they really want to pay a general manager off and then have to go find another general manager and blow out a bunch of people in the front office? I don't think so. But I will tell you this, and I've said this before, and I'd tell it to AJ. He's a very lucky guy because most general managers don't get 5 years, let alone 10 years. And the Padres really have not won anything other than that Dodgers series in 2022 that's really been all that significant. I mean, they got to the playoffs in the COVID year. They beat a mediocre Cardinal team, and then they got swept by the eventual world champion Dodgers that year. Yeah, they beat Pete Alonso and Buck Showalter and the Mets, and then they beat the Dodgers. That to me, that's where I'm fired up. They beat the Dodgers and eliminated them when the Dodgers, had a really really good ball club. So we'll see what happens. But right now, AJ's made a lot of good moves, but he's also given up a lot of players. And really, the Padres need to win now. They need to win this year and next year. And I mean, Manny's getting older. Bogarts is getting older. Musgrove, hopefully, he's able to come back. I'm going to talk more about Joe a little bit later in the program. Darvish, don't know if he's coming back. I know they're holding out hope, but is he throwing? Is he trying to stay in shape? Who knows what's going on in that family situation right now? And, it is what it is. Padres made a lot of long term commitments. We thought Soto was going to be here for 3 postseason runs. He was here for a year and a half and 1 postseason run. Now he's playing for the Yankees. So, and they gave up a lot of good players to get him. But looking at the trades, and I'm going to work from the trading deadline back to the Jason Adam deal. First of all, FanSided, who did a really nice job of keeping everybody abreast of what was going on in the trading deadline. They ranked the trade between the Padres and the Marlins. Padres got Tanner Scott, 30-year-old left-hander, having a great year, and right-handed pitcher Brian Hoeing, who's 27. He's under control next year, and the Padres apparently really like him. He's been kind of a swing guy. He's come out of the bullpen more for the Marlins than he has started, but I understand the Padres kind of like him, and they'd like to possibly work with him as a starter for next year. But I think this year he'll probably work out of the bullpen. And Tanner Scott, one of the best left-handed guys coming out of the bullpen in baseball this year. Padres gave up a lot, though. They gave up Robbie Snelling, who's having a miserable year in Double-A, no question about it. But my question, why are all these young pitchers in the Padre organization having a bad year? Is it that they've hit a ceiling? Or are they not working as hard? Or are they not getting the right instruction? I don't know. I mean, Snelling's numbers are awful, and Dylan Lesko's were even worse. And they were yelling about Dylan Lesko not being able to have fastball command. Well, remember, the Padres drafted him, and he had Tommy John surgery, and he's been working his way back. He came back last year a little bit and pitched. But, this year he's been wild. When he gets the ball over the plate, he's been pretty dynamic. He's got a lot of swing and miss, but I'll get to him later. Okay, Marlins received, after the Padres got Tanner Scott and Brian Hoeing, Marlins picked up Robbie Snelling, number 2 prospect in the Padre organization. They got right-handed pitcher Adam Mazur, 23. We saw him. He was ranked 4th in the Padre organization. Infielder, outfielder, nice-looking ball player. Graham Pauley, 23 years of age, 5th ranked prospect. And then a nice little infielder, who's only 22, 24th ranked prospect, Jay Brashears. Those 4 guys went to the Marlins. Marlins got a really nice haul. Now, FanSided, they graded this trade. And I'll let you grade it. And you can put it on our little box on YouTube if you'd like to grade the trade or how you saw the trade. I'd like your thoughts on that. But FanSided gave the Marlins an A+ for the 4 players that they received, and they gave the Padres a B-. Now, here's the problem I got with this trade. Tanner Scott, there's no doubt this guy's going to help the ball club this year. But he could be here for 2 months in the postseason run if the Padres get there. If the Padres don't get to the postseason, Tanner Scott will have been here for 2 months, and we gave up Robbie Snelling. I don't really care about giving up Mazur. Paulie, nice, but I don't see where he fits with the ball club. And Brashears, Padres got plenty of middle infielders. But Robbie Snelling, left-handed pitcher. I love those left-handed pitchers. 20 years old. First-round pick. and they gave him up for maybe a 2-month rental of Tanner Scott and getting Brian Hoeing for next year. That one bugs me. And the Lesko one bugs me, even though I'll be honest. Well, I'll just wait till I get to Dylan Lesko. Okay. So, anyways, that trade was in the books. Also, the Padres picked up from Pittsburgh 13-year veteran Martin Perez, a left-hander, probably going to pitch in the series against Colorado. He'll probably be the fifth starter for the time being. And if Musgrove can come in, and then Perez will probably go to the bullpen, be another left-hander out of the bullpen. I really don't know. And Martin Perez had some good years in the big leagues. He's one game over 500, ERA over 4 now in the big leagues. He'd been around a while. Once upon a time, he's pretty good. Right now, he's more of an innings eater than he is a guy that's going to go out there and shut people down. But hey, maybe Ruben Niebla can uncover something. So he's a guy that you can trust out on the mound. He knows how to pitch. So I'm fine with that. They gave up one guy. They gave up a 17-year-old left-hander, Ronaldo Jimenez, who's pitching down in the Dominican Summer League, 17 years of age. You know, he may never even get out of A-ball. You never know. But Martin Perez, nice little nugget there to, have some depth in the organization, something the Padres really don't have. And then Padres made a trade, basically minor leaguers, but they gave up a big league player. They acquired from the Yankees outfielder Brandon Lockridge, who was playing in AAA. And the Padres gave up 2 players, believe it or not. They gave up right-hand pitcher Enyel De Los Santos and minor leaguer right-handed pitcher Thomas Balboni. So, Lockridge, I don't know, another depth piece more than anything else. And Enyel De Los Santos, I think, with the acquisition of Jason Adam and Tanner Scott, probably didn't have a spot for him. Then the other trade that we talked about on our last podcast, Jason Adam, 32 years of age, second year of arbitration. He's got one more year, so the Padres get him this year and next year, and they'll have to come to an agreement. I can't imagine them signing him to a long-term deal because he's already 32 years of age. And in that deal, the Padres gave up Dylan Lesko, the number 3 prospect, outfielder Homer Bush Jr., number 8 prospect, and a young catcher, J.D. Gonzalez, the number 12 prospect. I hate giving up good arms, but I understand you have to give up something to get something. But maybe the Padres gave up on Snelling and Lesko too soon. These guys are young. They're both 20 years of age. And sometimes left-handers, it takes a little bit longer to develop. And right-handers coming off Tommy John, the last thing that comes back is command. And that's the one thing they said he just didn't have was command. Okay. As far as the series against Colorado are going to be limping to town. They're finishing up the series Thursday night against the Angels. Ball club, you got to be able to get at least 2 out of 3, if not sweep them. Buddy Black's team, they're going to play hard. They don't have a lot of pitching. They don't have a lot of anything. Padres are playing good. Padres are off on Thursday. They should have their bullpen ready to go. All the guys that were acquired should be in place, ready to go. No pitching matchups have been announced yet for either ball club. I'm sure they'll come down, later on Thursday or early Friday morning. But it's a ball club you got to be able to beat. There's no question about it. And right now, the Padres are staying healthy. Tatis is making some progress from what I understand. He's back swinging the bat, been swinging the bat for a few days. So, hopefully you're going to get him back at some point in time before too long. The Padres, they play Colorado. They got 3 games, Friday at 6:40, Saturday at 5:40, Sunday at 1:10. They're off on Monday, August 5th. Then they go on a 6-game road trip. Again, they'll be off on Monday, August 5th. The 6th, 7th, and 8th, they'll be in Pittsburgh. And then next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, August 9th, 10th, and 11th, they'll be down in Miami. And they're back home Monday night, August 12th at 6:40 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. I would think they could see Paul Skeens twice. They could see him in Pittsburgh, and they could see him at Petco Park. So I'm sure if Skeens is pitching, there'll be some incredible sellouts. And by the way, I got to mention this. You Padre fans, oh my God, you guys are amazing. I mean, seriously, and I realize that the ballpark's a little bit different now, and they can jam people in out there at Gallagher Square or whatever they want to call it, Park in the Park. They changed the name all the time. But anyways, Tuesday night, Petco Park record 47,559. That's the all-time biggest attendance. And then Wednesday night, 46,997. I have to laugh. Padres have had over 30 sellouts at home this year. I think they're 33 or 34 now. And when they were playing in Cleveland, I was listening to the Cleveland broadcast, and they go, "Oh man, this is the 10th sellout for the Guardians this year, and tomorrow night's going to be the 11th." And I'm like, kind of cracking up because they draw pretty good in Cleveland. They got a good ball club, but the Padres have got like 20 more sellouts than the Cleveland Guardians have. That tells you, Padre fan, you guys are the best, man. I don't care what anybody says. You may not average the most attendance in baseball, but you're loud and proud. There's no question about that. I got to tell you. Okay, let's get to some Padre transactions. Just kind of get you caught up on that. Right-handed pitcher Logan Gillespie, who's done a really nice job in the few opportunities he's gotten at the big league level with all the acquisitions, the pitching staff. He got sent back to El Paso. Right-handed pitcher Stephen Kolek, we know is a Rule 5 guy. And his times has pitched really well. And there have been other times where he's totally blown up, like in that one opportunity in Cleveland when the Padres were down 1-0 in the eighth, and they brought him in. Not really sure why Mike Schultz did that night with everybody healthy that night, but he went with Kolek that night, and the game got out of hand. That was the one game they lost in Cleveland, and one of only 2 games they lost on that last road trip. But Kolek went on the 15-day IL with forearm tightness. I always worry about forearm tightness because that's kind of the precursor to Tommy John. Left-handed pitcher Austin Davis. No room for him in the organization as of right now. He's designated for assignment. If he clears waivers, he'll have the opportunity to either accept a spot down in AAA, down in the minor leagues, or he can declare free agency by denying wanting to go down there. And one other note, well, a couple of notes. Joe Musgrove likely to pitch Sunday for one of the Padre affiliates. I would think maybe Elsinore, but he pitched 2 innings on Tuesday over in Arizona against Seattle Mariners. And I guess everything went well. I don't know what his numbers were, but he came out of it feeling good. Everything's kind of pointing up. I mean, definitely pointing up for Joe right now. His next step is to go out and pitch for an affiliate, and he's supposed to be doing that on Sunday, and we'll certainly keep you up to date on that. Wandy Peralta, who's dealing with a groin problem, he is back playing a little catch right now, but no timetable for his return. Okay, let's take a look at the standings real quick here and see where we're at. And again, the Padres off. Dodgers are off. Dodgers are going to open up a series on Friday up in Oakland. Right now, the Dodgers, they got off to a really good start in the second half of the season, but man, they've had a tough road trip. They went 1-2 in Houston. They went 0-2 in San Diego. Now they got 3 games up there against Mark Kotsay and the Oakland Athletics, and who knows? Kotsay's team's playing hard. And where the Dodgers are at all banged up right now, Kotsay may be able to get 2 out of 3. We'll have to wait and see, but I would think the Dodgers would probably, win that series and maybe even sweep. But the way they're playing right now, you got to wonder. Okay, you take a look at the NL West. Dodgers at 63-46. They're 29-26 on the road, 34-20 at home. 4.5 game lead over the Padres. Padres at 59-51. Now, here's where we're going to be watching, especially with the 3 games against Colorado. Padres have climbed back to the 500 mark at home at 28-28, and they've been an outstanding road team, one of the better road teams in baseball this year at 31-23. I'm watching that plus run category. They're plus 42 right now. They're making up ground in that area, no question about it. Diamondbacks 5 games back. The Giants 9.5 games back. Giants trying to find a way to claw to the 500 mark, and once they get to the 500 mark, you got to say that they're a contender. Nobody's a real contender for a wild card till they get to the 500 mark. And then you got the Rockies right now at 39-70. Let's take a look at the National League wild card right now. I'll tell you one team that's really struggling from my standpoint. The Atlanta Braves, they're not playing great baseball right now. They really aren't. They've dropped 6 of their last 10. They're sitting at the top of the wild card right now at 58 and 49. Padres right on their heels for that number one wild card. Arizona right there. The New York Mets a half game back. Cardinals, they're in a division where they had to be able to gobble up a few victories, a game and a half back. The Pirates 2.5 games back, and then the Giants are 4.5 games back. I don't know if the Giants have enough of wherewithal, but their pitching staff is starting to come around. I was a little surprised the other day with a couple of their moves, and that they didn't get a bat after trading Jorge Soler. But again, the Giants are a ball club that relies on pitching. Their bullpen's not bad. And, I wouldn't count them out yet, but they got to get to the 500 mark. I can tell you this, Farhan Zaidi, their president of baseball operations, and the ownership up there under a lot of heat. Bob Melvin is taking some heat, but he's not taking the heat that Zaidi and the ownership group are taking right now. We'll keep our eye on that. Okay, I want to get to San Diego State football. And I'm really looking forward to getting out to their first game. I love going to Snapdragon Stadium. It's so much fun. I mean, if you haven't been there, I'd encourage you to make a plan to get out there. Their first game is going to be August 31st against Texas A&M Commerce at 5 o'clock. I don't know what to expect. I've talked about this before. Head coach Sean Lewis, during the offseason, he's done a lot of things right. He's gotten out in the community. He's pressing the flesh, doing a good-looking guy, very personable guy. And I certainly wish him the best. I mean, this is really going to give San Diego State football a shot of adrenaline. Brady Hoke, they just weren't recruiting that well, and it was time for a change. And now you're bringing a guy in that knows how to throw the football and wants to throw the football. He's recruiting guys that have played in offenses that have thrown the football. And he got 2 quarterbacks. It's going to be very interesting. He's got the sophomore transfer from Florida State, A.J. Duffy, 6'2", 215 pounds. And then they got the heralded freshman that they brought in from Minneapolis or from Indiana, Danny O'Neal, 6', 185, going to be a true freshman. They got a bunch of running backs. They're very deep at running back. They brought in a lot of receivers. They got basically a whole new group aside from one guy at the tight end spot. They've got some offensive linemen they've brought in. They've got some talent. Now, how quickly will it take that talent to gel together as a unit? Now, defensively, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if they have anybody that can stop anybody. They had to replace the defensive line. They got a few linebackers. Their secondary, I thought, actually was pretty good last year. They lost a lot of those guys. I mean, half of the team, they got, I think, 115 players. Half the team's new. Nobody knows what to really expect. I mean, you're just optimistic they're going to be pretty good. The media in the Mountain West Conference, they didn't think much of them. They picked them 8th. But nobody knows anything about them. We have no idea how good they're going to be or how bad they could be. I mean, it could be a 500 year, less than a 500 year, or who knows? Maybe they go 8-4. We don't know. Nobody knows anything. Coaches don't even know. They're trying to figure some things out. They got guys that are going to start that weren't even here for spring ball when you look at their depth chart. So we don't know what to really expect. But they've got some talented guys. One thing you got to watch for, they've got a running back, a kid by the name of Marquise Cooper, 5'8", 185 senior. He played for Coach Lewis at Kent State. Then he transferred to Ball State, played at Ball State last year. Right now, he'll go in to the first game against Texas A&M Commerce, the leading active NCAA rushing leader in FBS football, 3,856 yards. Also leads active running backs at the FBS level with 33 rushing touchdowns. So you got a guy that's got a little bit of a resume. You got Keenan Kristen coming back, Jalen Armstead, Cam Davis, Lucky Sutton. You got a bunch of running backs, but they want to throw the football. Mekhi Shaw coming back, who had a very nice year, former walk-on, did a nice job. But I don't know what to expect, but I'm optimistic because I see a new passion out there, and he wants to prove himself. Sean Lewis, he and the staff want to prove themselves, and he brought in some pretty good coaches, some really nice coaches. So I'm very optimistic about Aztec football, and as we get deeper into it, I'll keep you more and more abreast about Aztec football. But we'll have another podcast on Monday morning. That'll be August 5th. Until then, let's hope our Padres can keep it rolling over the weekend against the Colorado Rockies. And again, I thank you once again for tuning in. Again, we're on YouTube, and I'd love for you to subscribe. It just takes a second or two. Subscribe. And again, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera and on X at Coach Kentera 44. Have a great weekend, everyone. And again, thanks for tuning in to San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show on YouTube. Bye-bye.